Chapter 100 Happy 100th or their topsy-turvy world. Ho ho ho. What fine weather we're enjoying yet again. I spit out the coffee I was about to gulp down. I woke up early and as the weather seemed a bit nippy, I decided to sit back and relax with a cup of coffee when I was abruptly thrown into a conundrum. Lady Violet? What's gotten into you all of a sudden? You're acting like a cliché rich girl, which ironically has become rather rare lately since every single novel seems to be about your run-of-the-mill villainesses. Also, what's with your hairstyle? Ringlets? That's right, Lady Violet suddenly greeted me like those young ladies from rich families. Even her attire was unlike her usual simple style but flamboyant, like she was dressed for a party. To top it off, her hair was also made up in ringlets. And frankly, it didn't suit her. Come now, why would you say that? I'm the same as ever. I'd say it's you that's acting strange, Mr. Cielo. I see. Did you just call me Mr. Cielo? Well then, I'm off to ridicule plebeians diligently dirtying their hands working the land every day. That's not a nice way to pass time, is it? Cease your insolence. A hinterland like this beneath me. I should have been in the capital waltzing with His Highness as his empress. True. I apologize. What's up with her today? Is she having mood swings? Or trying to act hot and cold? Leaving me befuddled, Lady Violet laughed heartily. Did all the stress get to her? I was trying my darndest to make sense of the situation and wondered what Gray was up to when all of this chaos was unfolding and inquired as to the same. Well, you know that boy should be coming back home any moment now. He's probably had a fun night out with some girl in town. Not Gray. Surely she doesn't mean that Gray, who unconsciously avoids anything to do with sex due to his past with the ex-lord of Shiki, is out being a philanderer? What in hell is happening? And judging from how she put it, this doesn't seem like the first time either. Personally, I'm all for Gray getting along with the fairer sex, but I don't want him to live like a lecher. Seeing how he's chasing after every skirt in town, I wouldn't be surprised if I became a grandmother at such a young age. For crying out loud. You don't say if you don't mind. I just realized I've got an errand to run. Would it be all right if I accompanied you out? Sure, that's fine by me. I shall honor you with the duty of shining light on my brilliance. All right. I look forward to it. Ye shall pray to God. Ye shall receive God's protection only if you submit and revere him. Ye whose feelings pocket of reverence is stronger is deep, shall be looked down on with benevolence. Come along, ye lambs who wish for their sins to be pardoned. Make your donations here. Scion's wearing the normal and chaste nun's habit and yet is acting like a money-monger? Curious, I walked into the church to find Scion around a gaggle of devotees, exuding a miraculous halo around her, indulging in unscrupulous activities. Also, is it just me or are there a lot of men around her? Usually she'd say something like, be it money or garbage, the more there is, the more it stinks, or you're right. A God who does nothing but watch over his children is not going to lead us unto salvation. We can simply pray to convey our gratitude for the blessings received and not for salvation. But now she was busy diligently collecting donations from everyone. I can't say I like this Scion. Priest Snow White? He embarked on a journey in search of people stronger than him. He also said like hell he'd play the role of a priest who guides lost lambs. Which fighting game did he pop out of? I inquired why the priest didn't stay put, for which she replied that he left for foreign lands in search of strength as his muscles are all he can trust. The same priest who used to say that the devotee's word of gratitude was all he needed in return for helping them, apparently stated that helping others was of no use to him. B-blood. Don't show me your wounds, please. Why did you even become a doctor? Ivory, who used to find wounds stimulating, was trembling in fear at the mere sight of them. Granted, his excitement wasn't normal in the least, but this Ivory is so averse to seeing wounds that it begs the question why he even remains a doctor. Oh Cielo, would you care to aid me in my experiment this fine day? As it happens, I need to sacrifice someone in this ritual that allows an angel to descend to earth. So I beg of you to die. Who's this refreshing, handsome lad who has no qualms making outrageous demands? How could you not recognize me? It's Orchid. What? That scary-looking, nice black magic practitioner had become a white magic practitioner, whose outward appearance was the only nice thing about him. He had this to say about sacrifices before. Any kind of results you obtain upon offering sacrifices carries little to no merit. Such a righteous orchid was casually saying awful things to others. On that note, this is the first time I've actually seen his face. Ordinarily he had this dark aura enveloping his face, making his features blurry. Hey Cielo. What? A fine day? Eek. Is that you, robot? Why are you naked? What happened to your burn scars and curse marks? Burns? Curse? Haha, what nonsense. Why would there be burn scars or curse marks on my beautiful body? Also, what's a robot? That's right. Ms. Blonde happens to be a pervert who likes to show off her beautiful body. Robano. Blonde had turned into an exhibitionist. She used to be afraid of showing her face or body, but she had become a pervert like Miss Schwartz. I realized this back then with Miss Schwartz, but when someone shows off their body so brazenly, it loses its value in more ways than one. Hear me out, lad. Women hit the sweet spot after 80. Any younger, they are nothing but raw material like steel that is molded into a knife. By the way, what do you think about people who like little boys? People are free to do as they please, but I wouldn't want to associate with them. Mr. Bly's personality remained the same, but his preference had changed. In a way, I might like this version of him better. No, wait. He'd still be a strange, somber middle-aged man with the hots for old grandmothers. He gives off the feeling he'd start making a knife that ages with time any moment. You see, I want to become a florist when I grow up. Maybe if I fill the house with pretty flowers, then my daddy and mommy will come see me? Maybe. Hang in there, apricot. I'll be cheering for you. Okay. Thank you, big brother Cielo. I petted a cute, almost doll-like apricot dressed in goth lowly style, and she gave a goofy smile, looking all shy. The apricot I know would have her parents eat a spell the minute they came to meet her, but practically none of her aggressiveness remained. That said, I still don't think she should be raising Rafflesia or Mandrake. Hey Lord. Eat this mushroom. It looks poisonous, but I don't know its effects. So I want you to eat it first so I can take notes. In your dreams, you jerk. Emerald had become a dangerous character who tried to experiment on others by feeding them poison. Of course, nothing good can be said about her habit of experimenting on herself, but it's a lot more horrific when she does the same to others. I feel like she'd take her time slowly taking notes of all the effects the poison has on the victim's body as it slowly spreads through their system, and they inch closer towards death. Ha! What a thing to say, Cielo. Men and women shouldn't casually sleep around. Rather, they ought to pledge their vows to a special someone and only make love with them. I think I like you better this way, Khaki. Yeah. I think it's better if the lustful demon remains chaste. Damn it. What the hell is happening? I should be asking what's the matter with you, Mr. Cielo. Shiki is the same as it's always been. I don't like this Shiki. Lord knows I've faced a lot of issues with the Shiki I'm familiar with, but I don't think I'd be able to govern this Shiki. A pampered bride with ringlets who likes to laugh at others. A son who's a womanizer at age 11. A nun who is obsessed with money and sex. A priest who abandons his duties in pursuit of physical strength. A doctor who is excited, afraid, at the sight of blood. A white evil mage. A blonde beauty who likes strutting around naked. A blacksmith who likes his women old. A girl who has innocent or rather dangerous dreams of becoming a florist. An apothecary who likes to conduct human experiments. A sensible, lustful demon. Maybe these guys were actually decent before? That said, which of these two versions should I consider normal? Maybe I'm just misremembering things and I'm the odd one out in this world. Or wait, am I dreaming? That's right, I must be dreaming. Nothing else explains this situation. Maybe I was reincarnated, transmigrated into a parallel world, or this is a dream. It has to be. Why do you look so out of it? For goodness sake, you're hopeless. Why don't you try to carry yourself more like a noble? Alright, let's part ways here. The top of the church should be high enough. Why, Mr. Cielo? Where are you going? I ignored a frozen Lady Violet and ran towards the church. A pinch is too mild. I need a much stronger shock to wake up from this dream. Plunging down from the church spire should do the trick. Oh? Where are you headed off to? What? Why are you here? What do you mean why? Of course I'm here because I'm S. More importantly, what's with the honorifics? Her voice is all muffled for some reason. What's happening here? Is the dream collapsing because I'm waking up? Not to mention I was S. I escaped here before I got roped into some mess or the other. Huh, what do you mean? Are you half asleep? Then come closer. I'll help you wake right up. CLO. Lord CLO. 8. I opened my eyes to the ceiling of the inn we were staying at in the capital. I suppose I was caught in a hellish nightmare. At my side were Lady Violet, Grey and Cyan, all looking at me with concern etched on their faces. Are you okay? I heard you groaning all the way over in my room. Yeah, we were worried. So I came with Io to check on you. Apparently, Grey from the room next door and Cyan in another room next to mine, who Lady Violet was sharing the space with, had heard my anguished cries. Phew. So it was just a dream. A dream? Did the stress of being in the capital get to you? Oh no, I'm fine. That's probably got nothing to do with this. Well, if you say so, no really. I'm fine. I'm sorry, I'll work harder. I'll do my best to be more reliable so Lady Violet will never have to wear ringlets. Lord CLO, please calm down. You're not making any sense. Chapter 101. Looking forward but still feeling anxious. When I heard that the person I used to like was playing the main lead in a play, I was more agitated than expected. I might have put it behind me now, but it's a fact that I used to love His Highness Vermilion. I shouldn't pretend that it never happened. If I pretended it never happened, that would be disrespectful to both Grey and Lord CLO, who I love now. I would just be running away. But still, that Prince Vermilion is performing in a play. Moreover, he's playing with her, so I can't help feeling conflicted. As far as I know, His Highness has said himself that he was more suited for watching plays and other forms of art, and was not the type to perform. Instead, he would demonstrate his strength through winning the match at the arena, and by fulfilling his duties at the school festival, he would easily shrug off suggestions from people around him to participate in the play. That's what I thought. The fact that His Highness is playing the main lead means that something happened that made him want to appear in the play himself. For example, he had an irreconcilable feeling of wanting to perform with somebody. Marry her. It's the woman His Highness wanted even at the cost of his engagement to the Duke's daughter, whom he had been engaged to since childhood. She's a commoner who I was jealous of, who I resented and strongly lashed against, who I was completely defeated by after going out of control. A woman who was loved by many students and teachers despite not having anybody backing her up, unlike me. The woman that His Highness, who has never loved me, professed his love to. She has also charmed Ash, Chartreuse and Eccles with her actions. Did His Highness request the leading role because she is the main actress? I don't know how true it is, but it seems like the highest possibility. She is undoubtedly the main reason why His Highness is performing in a play. But that's all fine. I have slight, not good feelings of jealousy, but that's fine. I might still get upset if I meet her or His Highness, but now I have Lord CLO and the others. Since I talked with Ms. Robot, I've been able to get over it. I can now look forward to the future. But there's something I'm the most worried about with her right now. Lord CLO and Grey might also be. My biggest worry is whether they'll be charmed by her. Even if I'm able to look forward and don't shy away from my feelings of love, if Lord CLO and Grey get charmed by her and lose interest in me, I will probably definitely become distrustful of others. I might cut all my hair, go on a journey and starve myself to death. But, it's entirely possible. If she had simply gotten close to His Highness without being so attractive, I might have not been so upset, and His Highness and others probably wouldn't have been attracted to her either. Looking back now, I think her actions often suggested that she could see through the hearts of His Highness and the others. If she's also able to see through the hearts of Lord CLO and Grey, or even Miss Cyan, Apricot, Burnt and Amber. Let. Lord CLO who's been charmed by her. Oh no, I'm about to tear up. Calm down, Violet. No matter how much of a possible future it is, it's not a reality yet. Should I start initiating physical contact with Lord CLO to make him pay more attention to me to prevent this future from becoming reality? Amber has told me before that in addition to exposing myself, any man will fall if you push your soft things against them. Thanks to that, I decided to refrain from contact with the opposite sex as much as possible. No, wouldn't that just make me a loose woman? I've certainly seen people make that kind of physical contact a few times. She also used to touch His Highness and the others a little, but did she go as far to hug them? At the very least, she wasn't making any indecent physical contact. Oh, that's right. I'm sure there was a story about her slapping Ash. So I should slap him too. Olette? Hey? Let's calm down. Violence isn't a good thing to start with. Imitating only the act itself with no substance is the height of stupidity. First of all, I must act with composure. I don't want to damage what I have right now. Then again, if I'm content with the status quo and don't try to change, people might lose patience with me. I should start by changing something small. Yes, for example, maybe I should try to change my hairstyle. What happened all of a sudden? Why dash, Lord CLO? Since when have you been there? Since pretty long ago. It seemed like you were lost in your thoughts, but it's already time to leave, so we have to prepare. It's already time? I messed up. I was so engrossed in thinking that the time to leave came. Since I've been invited to the play in question, I have to go and greet everybody. But, while it might be a bit late to ask now, why were we even invited to the school festival play and the party? I doubt His Highness would have invited me, and it's not like she was the one who sent the invitation either. If I was invited by the Valentine family, there's no way my parents would be okay with inviting me. My older brothers are barely a possibility. The Valentine family ordered me to go and even sent burnt and amber to me. An invitation sent in the name of a royalty. No, there's no thinking about it now. Well then, shall we go? Yes, let's go. I stood next to Lord CLO and we walked together to where Gray, Burnt and Amber were waiting. By the way, Miss Cyan has already gone to prepare for the play and Apricot is acting separately. I'm worried about both, but they promised that they wouldn't cause big problems, so it should be fine. May I, Lady Violet? What's wrong? It's fine if you want to change your hairstyle, but please don't choose egregious ringlet curls. Ringlet curls at the ends of your hair are fine though. I wonder if Lord CLO has some kind of trauma from ringlet curls. About a 10-minute walk from our lodgings. I stepped foot into the academy, which was decorated for the school festival. For the first time in what felt like a long time. Hey, isn't that, yes, undoubtedly. The academy I returned to after a long time was a very uncomfortable place. As we got closer to the school, more and more people appeared who knew me and what I did. Already 4 months have passed since then, but at the same time it has only been 4 months. They say that gossip lasts just 75 days, but even when I, the person involved, come back, it probably hasn't been long enough for it to be dismissed as a thing of the past, since no new students have enrolled yet. Moreover, the word seems to have spread that we were invited to the school festival. She really came? Does she have no shame? Did she forget what she did to His Highness and the others? She's so brazen after making the royal family her enemy. Is the man next to her the rumored husband? Poor man to be married to a woman like that. But it seems like there are bad rumors about the husband too. Then they're a match made in heaven. She should just crawl on the ground pathetically. Don't enter the academy grounds. Those attendants must have a rough time too. The boy must have it the worst. It's possible. That woman can only bully and intimidate others. It's scary. People who talk loudly on purpose so I can hear and people who spread rumors secretly are both scary. I was the only one who thought that what I was doing was right. And as a result, I alienated everybody in the school except for Creamhild. Some of them might be blaming me for things that I didn't even do. But in truth, it's no surprising that I'm being looked down on like this within the academy. It's not like I'm not used to the negative attention like this, since I've been on the receiving end of it from unspecified people ever since I was at the Valentine family. I'm sorry, Lord CLO and Gray. Also Burnt and Amber. Let's hurry. But I don't, Lord CLO and the others who are walking with me, to fall victim to the same contempt. I hate it even more when verbal abuse towards me is going towards Lord CLO. And the others, even when I'm the one who's being insulted. We have to get out of here quickly. Thinking so, I turned my gaze towards Lord CLO and the rest. Lady Violet, is that your acquaintance? He was looking at a certain point with an expression as if he had seen something unbelievable. It seemed like he was so focused on what was ahead of him that couldn't hear the voices around him. An acquaintance. Is it His Highness or the Valentine family? But the fact that Lord CLO called them my acquaintance means that it must be Creamhild. No, but in that case, why would he state it as a question? When I turned my head towards the direction where Lord CLO and the others were looking, something was there. Lord CLO and Gray took a step in front of me, while Burnt and Amber took a step further in front of them, all prepared to protect me. The surrounding students and visitors, who had been gossiping about me earlier, also saw it and retreated, looking in confusion at the thing as it headed towards me. It was about 3 meters tall and 1.5 meters wide. It was black overall with no clear outline like Orchid from Shiki. Its feet were fluffy, having been covered in cloth, and it was calling what seemed to be my name in a hoarse voice that made you feel like you were being cursed just from hearing it. What is this? Are you telling me that my conduct at the academy has finally been judged to have been unacceptable and a demon was summoned from the abyss? Welcome, thank you for coming. Moreover, for some reason it even welcomed me. Thank you for coming means that we are already in its territory. Unfortunately, I don't plan on going down without a fight. I want to live longer, so even if I'm in its territory, I'll fight it off. Then its fluffy eyes glowed and distorted into crescent moons. It's creepy. Furthermore, something resembling a hand popped out. It had a piece of paper in its hand and tried to give it to us. It's very creepy. Burnt looked at that paper warily, without accepting it, and read out what was written on it. Written on it was the following. True fear is here. A terrifying haunted house is being held at the first-year Luna class. If you can finish it, you can win prizes too. That's what it says. I see. Speaking of Luna class, that's the class I was in too. She was also there, and if this person is going out of their way to come to me of all people to advertise. It's been a while, Creamhild. Long time no see. Sorry, but it would be helpful if you could talk properly. Chapter 102 Consideration in her own way. Phew, I feel refreshed. Saying so, Creamhild took off her headgear while sweating a little. I don't know how it works, but when she took it off, the headgear gradually began to shrink, and when it finally became the size of a palm, she put it away in the bag, which also had flyers in it, hanging from her shoulder. How does it really work? Was that also made from alchemy magic? Yeah, that's right, sir. It's something I made quickly by mixing things. Lord Cielo probably also became curious about it and asked, what kind of materials in the process did you use to make it float in the air like that, shrink and have glowing eyes? I've never seen a tool like that. I mixed the core of a Trent, cursed water and a glowing liquid called Firefly Picker. Kneaded it well, then quick poof swoosh and it was done. I see. By the way, I made the voice by shaking my vocal cords from the inside. I see. And halfway through he gave up on understanding her. It's difficult to try and understand sensory types like her. As I recall, there are a lot of alchemy magic users who are like this, in addition to having special talents, so it's hard to pass it on as an academic discipline. Creamhild is different though. Anyway, I'm happy you guys came. Our class is doing a haunted house, so please come and say. Oh, or maybe I could show you around the school festival. Creamhild suggested with her usual friendly smile. Show us around, huh? Creamhild is probably saying this while understanding the surrounding situation. I'm sure she's trying to stand by me without worrying about her own position later. Well, if anything, I feel like right now people are more concerned about the ghosts from earlier. I'd be happy if you were our guide, but if you were handing out flyers, that means you're working, right? Don't you need to attend that? I'll hand them out while I guide you guys. It's all fine as long as they're gone in the end. In other words, you have no intention of handing them out seriously. I mean, because we have famous people like Char and Ash, it's already a huge success even without the flyers. Is that so, Chem? It's true that if Ash, Chartreuse and His Highness are there, the haunted house would become a hot topic. But would that alone be enough to make it a success? It's possible, but I wonder if the advertisement worked better than expected. Speaking of haunted houses, people are in costumes like Creamhild earlier, right? In that case, I don't think having famous people would make any difference. Then Gray asked Creamhild, perhaps wondering about the same thing. His question was just as you'd expect it, about how nobody could tell who they were if they wore a costume. Wait, Creamhild? Did Gray just call Creamhild by her name? The prize for surviving the haunted house is handed over directly. Currently enrolled students can nominate the person they can get the prize from, so we have a lot of repeaters. Is that okay? It's okay. In other words, due to the popularity of His Highness and the others, people try over and over again. It's probably better since it's more wholesome than the bars in the red light district that I've heard about. But is it really okay? But apart from that, it's amazing. Do you guys also want to come and see? His Highness and Mary aren't here because they're preparing for the play. No, if I go now, right? If Lady Violet goes now, I appreciate the offer. But even though we have time until the play starts, I feel hesitant to go to my former class. His Highness and Mary might not be there, but Ash, Chartreuse and Silva, who hates the very sight of me, must be there. Takes courage to go there. Lord Cielo also glanced at the surrounding situation and looked uncomfortable. It's okay, you guys just don't have to get found out. In short, what do you mean? It's a school festival, so it's okay to dress up a little. There's no problem even if somebody like Robo appears. I think Robot would be a bit difficult to pass off. But yes, that's true. Dressing up might be a good idea. Lord Cielo? I have a bad feeling about this. Do you have any specific ideas, Miss Creamhild? Change hairstyle. Put on a hat. Put on glasses. Why is she speaking in full stops? No, I guess that's fine. If we disguise ourselves too blatantly, we'd stand out even more, so with just that, we'd be better off than now. Yeah, that might be fine. But would we be able to prepare those immediately? Don't worry. If I have materials, I can make them for you right away. And hats and such can be found in the waiting room of the haunted house. I see. Then can I rely on you for this? As for the space to change. Yep. Then you can use an empty room to change your clothes. And I'll make sure that no one's there, so let's go together. Oh, put this on. Wait, Creamhild. Saying so, Creamhild immediately took my arm, put on a ghost costume with a different face from the one she was wearing on me, turned my body towards the classroom and pulled my arm. At first I was surprised, but when not just Lord Cielo, but also Gray, Burnt and Amber followed us without saying anything even though they were also surprised, I realized that this was Creamhild's attempt to get me away from my current location. Doing this will put Creamhild in a bad position in the academy, but she's being considerate to me. Don't cause trouble. What might you be talking about? I feel apologetic, but I'm also thankful to still have a friend who would pull me along like this. I think it's a good thing that I can go around with my friends like this, even though this school festival is nothing but painful for me. If we can trick the people around us well, it might be nice to give the haunted house a try. Really? I'm happy about that, but don't push yourself too hard, okay? Yeah, I know. And I also thought that if the costume worked well, it wouldn't be a bad idea to go into the haunted house where my friend helped set it up. But at this time we still had not realized. Why was there a prize for surviving the haunted house? In other words, it was because it was considered that there was a low chance of people finishing it. And the costume tool that Creamhild was wearing earlier. She said that it was created with alchemy magic. There are 2 users of alchemy magic who can create something like that easily. The haunted house was presented by Luna class, where the talented students of Azalea Academy had gathered. Especially this year there were charismatic students like His Highness Ash and her, who were good at leading. We could easily deduce what kind of a thing the haunted house that they went all out on would be if we just thought about it for a moment. Chapter 103 Various Fears. After I asked Amber to style my hair in a crown braid, put on a hat, and put on fake black-rimmed glasses made by Creamhild, the people around seemed to have a harder time knowing who I was than I expected. They did not recognize me, and even when I advertised to the classmates who I'd only talked to a few times and told them to please come, to their faces. At first I was worried if it would be okay when I looked in the mirror after disguising myself, but no one seems to know that it's me even when I speak, so it does seem to work. Although I was a little apprehensive since my friend was involved in it and I also had some ulterior motive of wanting to naturally be clingy in the haunted house, I thought I would check it out, so I asked Creamhild to show us the way. That's how I ended up here. Please sign the pledge before entering the haunted house. I was handed something incomprehensible before entering. By the way, the female student at the reception desk who handed it to me was also my former classmate, but she didn't realize that it was me. I feel a little complicated about this. I've only ever heard about haunted houses from rumors, but does it really need a pledge like this? To summarize the content, it was, we take no responsibility for whatever happens. The usage of magic is strictly prohibited. Wow. There was something like this in the past too. Also a haunted house, as expected. Lord Cielo, who was wearing glasses like me, seemed a little worried after reading the pledge, possibly having seen something like this in the past. Also, what does he mean by as expected? I'm worried too, but if we come this far and don't enter, there would be no point in coming. Right now, not only are that girl and His Highness absent to prepare for the upcoming play, our disguises haven't been discovered either, so this is our only chance to enter. Apparently people are meant to enter as pairs, so it's our chance to be alone together, and I can even shorten the distance between us with physical contact. Okay, I can do this. Let's enter, Lord Locke. I understand, Lady Io. We called each other by fake names and signed the pledge. Burnt and Amber seemed anxious, but I can't be intimidated. We are finally doing something that's like our first trip as a married couple. I want to make some good memories. There was a girl at my feet and a penguin above. Yuga, what was that? Why was it floating? Why did a little boy grow up rapidly? And the flowers, the hands. Or so I thought, but looking at the pair that just left the passage for those who dropped out halfway, I felt a little uneasy. I couldn't understand their words, and although it was definitely scary and the girl was clinging to the boy's arm, it didn't look very fun. Are you okay, milady? I'm fine. In the end, it's still only something made by students. I checked earlier and the current completion rate is less than 1%. It should be fine. It wasn't fine. I have developed a certain tolerance for scary things. I can exorcise small vengeful spirits, and I find living things to be far scarier. I want to reflect on myself from a while ago for making light of this haunted house and thinking that while it might have been scary, it was still made by school students, and if they managed to get the permission from the student council, it wouldn't be that bad. Lady Io, it might be my imagination, but isn't the ceiling a bit too high? Did they do any renovations after I graduated? I don't think so. Also, I'm sure we entered a classroom, right? Yes, but isn't this place somehow bigger than the training hall? First, we entered the classroom, but the space inside was as large as a 50-meter square training hall. And not only was the whole place dark, there were fireballs and things like the costume Kriemhild was wearing floating in the air. Isn't there something strange about this house at this point? Thinking so, we decided to start anyway and suddenly met a girl. Give me your blood. Your bright red blood. I'm sorry, I can't do it. Give me your internal organs. Your bright red internal organs. I'm sorry, I can't do it. Give me. Give me. Give me, 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 dash. Let's go. She might really take dash. You can't run away. Let's go for real. A little girl in white clothes started repeating the same words like a broken puppet. Then she started floating in the air, took out a knife, turned her head once and chased us while laughing. The terror of being chased was scarier than I expected, but this much was still fine. I thought it was a little cute that Lord CLO was more scared than I expected, but as he took my hand and pulled me along, my heart was full from happiness of having achieved my goal to some extent and embarrassment from him holding my hand. By that point, Lady Io, the pufferfish grew into an octopus, and it's attacking us. What are you talking about? A penguin descended from the ceiling and started tap dancing. What the hell? It has some good skills. A boy grew up rapidly into a chimera and made a marriage proposal. But looks like it's for you, Lord Locke, not for me. What? Hey, Lady Io, a man just cut off his head in front of us, and is coming towards us with his head in his hands. But it's a trick, right? I couldn't see through it, but please tell me that it's a trick. Why are you silent? Lord Locke, since when do you have 4 arms? Huh. Whoa, what the hell, this is disgusting. Lady Io, since when are you taller than me? Huh. What is this body? As the tricks kept attacking us one after another, my fear started to outweigh my happiness. I learned the unknown and scarier than I thought. Rather, I feel like there are many things here that just can't be explained with gimmicks only. However, as we overcame many other tricks without giving up, like a male student who shone with radiance in the air, a female student whose body melted down, and a mummy who suddenly crawled out of the ground and tried to take our skin, we began to think that we were close to the finish. Even though the space itself became wider, we still walked a good distance. Oh, this might finally be the exit. Look, there's a door with flowers. There were blooming white flowers at the end of Lord Cilo's gaze, as if congratulating us on reaching the goal, petals dancing in the air. There was even a door that looked like an exit. Oh, thank God. We finally reached the goal. Ah ha ha ha. As soon as I thought that, the door dissolved with laughter, the flowers melted and changed shape. The white petals changed shape into another white thing, similar to the arms of a child. The nearby arms approached each other and started clapping. Clap, clap, clap. Clap, 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 clap. Clap, 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 clap. Ah, Prila. Tai. Lord Cielo, come on, let's go quickly. Applause. Cheers. Ovation. Children's laughter. 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 This is bad at this rate, this will traumatize me in many ways. But it would also be shameful to give up now. I clung to Lord Cielo's arm, as he made incomprehensible noise, desperately stopped my knees from giving out and tried to move on. I achieved my goal of making physical contact with Lord Cielo, but I had no time to be happy about it. Lord Cielo also seemed to want to leave quickly, walking fast towards the exit. Why? Then, the next thing that appeared in front of us was wearing tattered iron armor all over its body, and its eyes glowed red from the position of the eyes of its helmet that was covering its face, as if complimenting us. Damn, what is it going to do this time? Couple? Damn it, just break up. It suddenly started cursing like a modern person. Oh, you reached the goal? Congratulations. Creamhild, let me ask you one thing. What's wrong? Who thought of the content of this haunted house? The entire Luna class came up with most of it, but it was mainly Mary and I who made it happen with alchemy magic. Damn it, now I'm envious of alchemy magic. Chapter 104, Worrying About That First, Lavender. Are you okay, Vi? Yeah, I'm fine. I've calmed down now. Exhausted from the haunted house, we were taking a break in a place without many people around. To be honest, if I wasn't found out, I would have liked to have toured around the school festival with Lord Cielo and the others until it was time for the play, but I really couldn't afford it. It was clear to me that if I didn't recollect myself, nothing good would happen during the play. So that's what a haunted house is like. It was my first time, but it was fun. There was an arm flowers. I don't want to see white flowers for a while. Gray and Amber went in after us, but Gray seemed to have come out enjoying that fear instead. He enjoyed the students melting and flowers changing into hands with his eyes shining, looking even more reliable than the terrified Amber, who was still trembling while clinging to Gray's arm. By the way, Burnt apparently took on the challenge alone and completed the haunted house by closing his eyes midway through the darkness. I knew he had a good hearing, but I feel like that's somehow the wrong way to challenge a haunted house. It's almost time, let's go. Lord Cielo checked the current time and urged us to go to our original destination, the theater. It's time already? We didn't have much time to start with, but it looks like we might be in trouble if we don't leave soon. What is it time for? We were invited to the play as VIPs. We have to give a brief greeting to others who also got invited before the play starts. Oh, so you were invited too. By the way, how have you been lately? Haha, kind of like that. Nobles seem to have it hard too. The nobility is especially concerned with appearances. Besides, since we were invited by somebody else, we can't just be absent for no reason. I've heard rumors that the invitations were sent in the name of a royalty. Yes, the word that we've been invited in the name of the royal family has also spread through the academy? Just who spread it? Although this play is performed by the students, the plays, tournaments, and the parties at the Azalea Academy School Festival serve as social events to some extent. Lord Cielo doesn't like the noble society, and he himself is unlike other nobles, but if the invitation is from a royalty, he can't ignore it. Our position is already bad as it is. We cannot disobey the orders from the highest authority. Can I come with you halfway? I don't have a VIP seat, but I do have a ticket. I don't mind it. Is that okay, Lady Violet? Yeah, it's fine. When we agreed, Creamhild seemed delighted from the bottom of her heart. As usual, she's so expressive that just watching her makes one feel happy. Her radiant smile is something I'd love to be able to do too. I'll probably be too embarrassed to do it too. Come to think of it, I remember that Apricot and Emerald said something about Creamhild's smile making them uncomfortable before. They said something about it being a different type of smile. I wonder what they meant by that. That being said, they couldn't explain it in detail themselves. I quite like her though. She reminds me of Lord Cielo somehow and I find her endearing. Rather than that, Creamhild, is the haunted house going to be fine? In our class, nobody wanted to be left in charge during the time of the play, and it almost turned into a battle royale, so we're temporarily closed during that time period. Is that okay? Ahaha, but we couldn't do anything else. Char was especially scary. He looked like he was ready to use his batajutsu. In other words, the whole Luna class wanted to see His Highness play. His Highness and she are really popular even now. Well then let's go. Trying not to dwell on unnecessary thoughts and looking forward to speaking with Creamhill to ease my mind even just a little, I felt a commotion around us as we made our way to the theater. Glancing around, I saw a strange crowd of people a bit away from us, with someone seemingly moving within it. Who might it be? Did someone famous arrive? Oh, I know, Creamhill. This is like when you're doing an impersonation of somebody, and the real person appears from behind causing a commotion. The person being impersonated is in the center of that group. You know some strange things, Gray. And you're probably wrong. Then this is like a saint discarding a part of the armor worn during her triumphant return to bestow a part of her power to the people, in the end raising the morale of the masses by being left with a single piece of cloth remaining. Yeah, that's not it either. Tell me the name of the person who taught you that the next time I visit Shiki, I'll give them a good scolding. While Gray was still showing off the knowledge he obtained from who knows where, for some reason, I found myself curious about that someone. I felt like that someone was heading our way. I felt that I knew that someone very well. But that should have been impossible. He should have been busy preparing for the play right now, so he couldn't possibly be in a place like this. Yet here he was. I thought my eyes were deceiving me, but it was you after all. The person who appeared in front of us was somebody who I wanted to meet, but was unable to. The person who I had been in love with ever since I was a child, and never doubted that we would be together. But he was also the one who rejected me in public, saying that he never wanted to see my face again. How dare you decide to show yourself in front of us? You're just shameless. He was dressed in a costume for the play and glaring at me with his beautiful purple eyes full of contempt and hostility. Don't you think so? Violet. Your Highness. Vermilion. His Highness Vermilion, who I loved for over 10 years, was standing in front of us. Thank God he doesn't have Orc's body. What? For now we felt relieved. Chapter 105, Remembering It Makes Me Livid. Smiley face. Lavender. An Orc's body? I don't know what you're talking about, but it's been a while, Violet. I'm surprised you're dressed like that. What happened to your usual arrogant, shameless, and brazen attitude? My apologies, Your Highness. I am sorry for having to greet you with my head covered due to our sudden meeting. His Highness was taken aback for a second, but he immediately returned to a hostile expression towards me. It was as if he couldn't see anybody besides me. Lord CLO and the others didn't interrupt immediately, probably because the other person was His Highness, and the people around seemed to have no idea who I was, only maintaining enough distance to barely hear what we were saying and wondering what was going on. I don't care. If it means that I'll have to see less of you, you don't have to take it off. I see. When I tried to take off my hat and glasses, His Highness spat out those words in disgust. This breaks my heart more than I expected. I thought I'd already gotten used to being met with malice, but when the other party is His Highness, it hits harder than I imagined. Your Highness Vermilion, that phrasing is, shut up. She and I are the ones talking now. As I was lost for words, Lord CLO put his hand on my back and silently supported me to see if I was okay. Then, Creamhill confronted His Highness before I could. I won't shut up. I can't stay silent when my friend is being insulted. Nephrite. Your straightforwardness is a virtue just like hers, but think about who you should be protecting. There's no way this person considers you a friend. Creamhill continued to speak fearlessly to His Highness, even though Gray and Amber, who weren't even spoken to directly, were so intimidated that they flinched. His Highness seemed to have realized for the first time who was trying to interrupt him and reprimanded Creamhill. So what? Even if that's true, it doesn't mean that your words were acceptable. However, Creamhill did not falter. The people around us were in an uproar at the strange sight of a commoner fearlessly standing up to the royal family, even if they couldn't hear the details. Whether they're acceptable or not isn't something you get to decide. And you're the one blocking the approval or disapproval of it. Just know that interrupting my conversation is a waste of time. Personally, I find a conversation with Violet, no, the fact that this woman even set her foot in the academy, to be unforgivable. Ugh, you really? His Highness plainly stated his rejection of me and his denial of Creamhill. without a change in his expression. Kriemhild looked like she was about to pounce on him, but understanding that it would only make the current situation worse, she simply bit her lip in frustration. His Highness still holds a grudge against me. Calm down, Violet. I already knew that His Highness hated me, and haven't I already been treated with hostility? This attitude isn't unreasonable or anything. It's simply natural. That's right, remember it. It's His Highness. The other person is the Prince Vermilion. He's the third prince with red hair and purple eyes, who was free-spirited and adorable as a child, but gradually woke up to the responsibility as a royalty. His personality became more composed and he turned into a proud prince who tried to live up to the expectations of those around him. As he got older, his appearance became even more beautiful, befitting a member of royalty. I also polished myself in various ways to become a woman worthy of him. But since enrolling in the academy, he started interacting with Mary Sue a lot, and even though he had a fiancée, he would often be seen holding her hand, going on solo trips with her to collect materials for her alchemy magic. When he fell into the lake with her during class, he carried her to her room in a princess hug like Ecclesiastes. To top it all off, she became friends with other famous people at the academy like Ashe, Chartreuse, Eccles and Silva, and even though they have almost publicly declared their love for her, His Highness still said that he wanted to be with her, and even agreed to the duel, snarling at me that he had never loved me. It is not surprising that many men would be attracted to a charming woman, but after I was completely vilified by Ashe, Eccles and Silva during the duel and excessively restrained by Chartreuse, His Highness mocked me that I was treated suitably and flirted with Mary Sue in public, plus in front of me, after she reprimanded him, telling her that she was too kind. Alright, I'm starting to feel like I don't care what this man thinks of me. Although I was unexpectedly shaken by his words of rejection when we met in person, and the information that he would be starring in a play, but now that we've met face to face again and I was able to confirm my determination, I was able to move on. At that time the result of my 10 years long love were the words of rejection, so I got sick of everything. However, ever since I was saved by Lord CLO and the others, I've calmed down a lot. To start with, I feel like those 4 months are more important to me than the last 10 years. Selfish, but I've decided to selfishly be happy, so let me move forward again. I took off my glasses that I was told I didn't have to take off, took off my hat, left my hair that was set by Amber, who told me that it looked good on me, and turned towards His Highness as I was. Lord CLO and Kriemhild looked worried. But when I let them know with my expression that I was okay, they allowed me to take a step forward. I still think that it is impolite, so I will take them off. Once again, how do you do, Your Highness? I am relieved to find you in good health. Yeah, all thanks to you. To be more exact, I've been able to fully enjoy my school now that the burden is gone. I am delighted to hear that. Many people say that the memories of school life are a treasure. I shall pray that you lead such a school life, Your Highness. I would love to do that, but a jealous woman who I just can't seem to get rid of is damaging that treasure. Personally, I would like to get rid of her before I meet Mary. I must apologize about the part of getting rid of me. As I have my husband with me, I cannot act selfishly. And as for my apology to Your Highness and her, I will do it at some point. However, you are the star of the play. I will not be able to apologize satisfactorily if you are pressed for time. As I bowed, the people around quietly stirred and His Highness' eyes became even sharper with disgust. The surroundings reacted to my apology, while His Highness seemed surprised at me calmly saying that I would apologize. His Highness looked around at the people around me, and since Gray was too young and he knew burnt, he decided that Lord CLO must have been my husband, and looked at him closely. Are you Violet's husband? I've only heard that she got married. Yes, my apologies for greeting you belatedly. Lord CLO took a step forward and bowed to His Highness. For a moment I felt like Lord CLO was looking at His Highness with a hateful expression. It was not due to me being insulted, but rather due to looking at His Highness' face, as if he saw something else. I am CLO Hartfield, the third son of Baron Hartfield. I currently serve as the lord of a land by the name of Shiki. I apologize for having to greet you at such a place. Baron CLO, huh? With a woman like this, wait, did you say the third son of the Hartfields? Yes, I am the third son of Baron Herefield and a graduate of this academy, Your Highness. I see. However, next, His Highness looked at Lord CLO as if he was surprised by something. Although, he quickly recollected himself and his expression turned into exasperation. His Highness did not seem to know about Lord CLO from his earlier reaction. So what was he reacting to? You're a match made in heaven, Violet. To think that you would marry the person who tried to kill my older brother Carmine. What? His Highness looked at Lord CLO and spat out those words. Chapter 106. A somewhat dense type smiley face lavender. The attempted murder of the second Prince Carmine. His Highness definitely said so. It sounds like nothing but a lie, but I can't think of a reason why His Highness would lie in this situation. Or it's possible that he's trying to spread rumors about Lord CLO to put me in a difficult situation, but I can't imagine His Highness doing something like that. What I do know is that they had never met and talked prior to today, and perhaps His Highness is only observing Lord CLO because he had heard his name before. One correction. I merely participated in a duel. I don't mind either way, but that's how it's considered. I see. So you don't care either way, but you won't deny that it was your goal. You seem different from what I've heard. I don't know what His Highness thought when he saw Lord CLO's attitude. Was it understanding? A new realization? Or perhaps appreciation? I'm sorry, but let's not talk any further. I'm afraid we don't have much time. You're right. I can't make people wait any longer. Lord CLO remained calm and respectful towards His Highness, and without further denying or confirming His Highness' words, told him that the time for the play was approaching. Does the fact that he's not denying it mean that Lord CLO really tried to kill Prince Carmine? No, that's impossible. It's true that he's the same age as Prince Carmine and attended Azalea Academy the same time as him, but an attempted murder of royalty would turn into a big scandal. No matter how lenient they were, there would be no escape capital punishment. Also, what did he mean by a duel? Violet. My thoughts were interrupted by His Highness' words. I could sense his rejection of me from his words that were still filled with the same contempt for me. I'll decide how to deal with you later. I have other things to prioritize right now. Deal with me, huh? Looks like I'm being treated like a calamity. I don't particularly care about what he thinks of me, but it's a little sad to be treated like an object. It makes me feel sorry towards Lord CLO and the others. You guys might be watching the play, but don't get in the way. Don't you act the way you used to just because you hate Mary. Yes, I will keep it in mind. I look forward to your performance, Your Highness. When I switched my attitude and said with a smile, His Highness turned on his heels with a bored look on his face and headed in the direction of the theater. He seemed to have seen through the fake smile I'd learned to put on during my past education. Not like I minded though. The people around us were looking at us, wondering what to do, but His Highness changed his expression and promoted the play, saying, "If you would like, I can show you the way until halfway." So they followed him without caring about us, and the space returned to the empty space it was before His Highness arrived. Raising the public's word with a single sentence and advertising something himself doesn't seem like His Highness that I knew. No, right now Lord CLO is more important. Prince Carmine Gufu. Lady Violet, milady? Just as I was checking on Lord CLO, Creamhild threw herself at me. It happened so suddenly, but I couldn't help but react improperly. There was so much force in her action, that as usual I couldn't help wondering where in her small body she had such power. Creamhild, don't hug me suddenly. You must have been worried about me, but I'm okay. Really? You're not forcing yourself? Don't worry, I already don't care what His Highness Vermilion thinks about me. Even if he lashes out at me, I'll only think, so what now? When I said so, not only Creamhild but also Burnt and Amber looked surprised. Creamhild immediately smiled, and followed up with, "I'm glad. Still, she's helped me out many times before, just like earlier. I have to thank her." Thinking so, I stroked her head that was at just the right position because she was nearly 20 centimeters shorter than me. She looked confused at first, but she gradually began to let me pat her. "Let's go already, Lord CLO. If we don't hurry up, we won't be able to say our greetings." When I made the suggestion, Lord CLO looked a little surprised and, "Are you not going to ask what I did?" he asked somewhat apologetically. Sure, if you asked me whether I was curious or not, I would say that I'm curious. Thinking about it carefully, I don't know why Lord CLO dropped out from Azalea Academy or why he was put in charge of a land like Shiki, a dumping place for problematic people. Even though there were rumors about him being tyrannical, arrogant and lustful, the facts are different. Regarding his lust, sometimes I even wonder if he feels anything at all. He does get embarrassed, so I assume he feels it to some extent. This so-called attempted murder probably has something to do with the duel. You can just tell me when you want to talk about it, Lord CLO. I also have done things in the past that I can't be praised for. I'm not shameless enough to criticize you for something. I don't know how much he knows about my deeds, but Lord CLO didn't look down on my past. He even told me to not deny the efforts I had made. At the very least, the golden ring on my left ring isn't just symbolic. It's a proof that Lord CLO and I are husband and wife, and it's an acknowledgement of who I am now. So, even if you did something in the past, it's the current you that I like. Isn't that enough? Even if Lord CLO has attempted murder in the past, he's my precious and beloved husband. And he's by my side. That's all I need right now. Vi. After a while, it was Kriemhild, whose head I was still patting, who responded to my words. What's wrong? I'm envious that you have somebody you can say things like that to. But. Kriemhild stopped speaking for a second, glanced at the surroundings, at Lord CLO and the others, and continued. I think it would probably be better if you said that without us. Why? What should I do? After laughing like always, Kriemhild scratched her slightly red cheeks, as she was lost as to what to do. Come to think of it, Bernd was holding down his eyes and blushing as he said, the voice, and Amber was looking up at the sky with slightly red cheeks, muttering the scent, to herself. Why are they acting so strangely? Lord CLO said something quietly, so I couldn't hear what he said, but he had his hand over his mouth and his face was extremely red. Lord CLO, do you perhaps have a fever? I'm fine. I don't have a fever and it will subside in a little while if I keep standing, so please stay as you are. Please continue patting Miss Kriemhild the way you are. Please. For some reason, Lord CLO was trying to distance himself from me. I wonder why. Did I say something strange? Chapter 107. Different Forms of Love and Relationships. Having been hit with Lady Violet's straightforward affection, I took several deep breaths to compose myself and headed for the theater once I calmed down. To be honest, I'm still not very calm, but I'm feeling a lot better. We parted ways with Kriemhild, who seemed to be smiling more than usual at the entrance, and went around to greet people. However, as expected, everybody seemed to know about Lady Violet's situation, and they would cut the conversation short or make some roundabout sarcastic remarks. There were a few people who knew about me, so we were avoided even more, but I was prepared for that to happen, so I didn't mind it. However, I did hope that Lady Violet and Grey wouldn't feel uncomfortable. I'm glad we got to meet Kaki's family. Yeah, the single saving grace was the fact that we got to meet Kaki's older brother and younger sister, who were attending as the representatives of the Roberts family. Despite the way he acts, Kaki is the second son of a marquis. I've met his siblings a few times through Kaki-related matters and have become quite close with them, so they kept the surroundings in check for the play. Thanks to them, blatant sarcasm and conversations have been kept to a minimum. Still, this might sound rude, but I still can't believe that Kaki is from a marquis family. And the Roberts family at that. As we sat in our VIP seats in the theater and waited for the play to start, Lady Violet made sure that there was no one sitting close to us and muttered under her breath. The Roberts family is a legendary family that was built by Kaki's grandfather, who rose from the rank of a baron to a marquis in one generation. Although there are some who call them outsiders, they are often spoken of as an illustrious family. But with Kaki being the way he is, it's no wonder this fact is hard to believe. On the other hand, his older brother and younger sister are technically married, very serious and talented, without any strange rumors about their sexual inclinations. Speaking of which, I have had some contact with the Roberts siblings and I have to say that they're wonderful people. Not only are their talents outstanding, they also get along so well that it makes me envious. I never had a good relationship with my siblings. Come to think of it, Lady Violet has two older brothers, who are quite a bit older than her. In the Ring of Fire, they were only mentioned in a character setting and I've never met them in this life either, so I don't know much about them. I've had some contact with the Roberts due to my connections with Kaki, so I know that they're outstanding people. They've taught me a lot about how to act as the Lord and how to negotiate, and they're such highly capable people that even the Valentine family thinks highly of them. They're a wonderful pair of siblings, who treat the residents of Shiki, and the commoners alike, without any discrimination. Yes, and those siblings are brilliant. However, if you ask me if there were absolutely no problems with them, I would have to say no. I feel like I had the exact same thought recently, but maybe I'm just imagining it. Certainly. Those siblings love each other. I envy their deep affection for each other. Just say that they have a good relationship, Gray. Saying that they love each other might be taken the wrong way. Oh, pardon me, Lady Violet. Indeed, I should have phrased it that way. Consanguineous marriage. I think that was the term. It's forbidden by law, isn't it? Yeah? You're right, it is forbidden by law, but, Possibly having felt something strange from Gray's words, some strange question seemed to have risen in Lady Violet's mind. Consanguineous marriage is forbidden in our kingdom. I heard that some royalty and nobles in the past would do so in order to keep their bloodline pure, but since the current state religion has been recognized as the state religion, it has been banned once again by law, because incest is forbidden by the doctrine. As someone who had a younger sister in my previous life, I honestly don't want to think about doing something like that with a close relative, but love takes different forms after all. What's wrong, Lord Cielo? Well, it's probably best not to meddle in how well Kaki's siblings get along. It just so happens that the person they loved happened to be nearby. Besides, one of the love interests was also born from that kind of a relationship. Nothing, I just thought that the world is a big place. Oh, looks like it's about to start. You're right. Seems to be starting. The surrounding VIP seats were filling up, and the lights were gradually dimmed, signaling that it was time for the play to start. As the darkness fell, the audience, who had been looking forward to the play, gradually got quieter. I checked to see how full the place was, and found that there was standing room only near the entrance, where the audience was crowded together. Was this the influence of His Highness, or perhaps Miss Mary? Either way, it was amazing that such a large theater was filled to capacity. It seemed that they had cast space preservation to prevent people from entering halfway during the play. Lord Cielo. As the surroundings became darker and the play was about to begin, Lady Violet called my name in a small voice. When I asked what was wrong with my gaze, Lady Violet seemed worried about the play we were about to see. Although she said that she didn't care about His Highness' feelings towards her, I don't know what she actually feels. I wonder if she has some thoughts about the fact that her former crush is starring in a play. That kind of stung. I wouldn't have admitted it back then, but she's a wonderful, beautiful woman. So, her hands were clenched tightly on her thighs, and her expression was so tense that I could tell it even in the dark. I assume by her she means Miss Mary. She's a wonderful woman, so it can't be helped if you're charmed by her, but no, it's fine. Let's just concentrate on the play. In other words, she's worried that I might be mesmerized and fall in love with her. Yeah, my wife is cute today as well. I placed my hand on her clenched fists and smiled reassuringly. When Lady Violet saw my expression, she also smiled as if she was relieved, and then turned her gaze back towards the play. Milady's nervous heartbeat and voice. The smell of Milady's nervous breath. Yup, and the servant siblings standing a little away are being perverts again today. Chapter 108, Grateful to the Saint/Monster. My father was killed on my 10th birthday. The curtain rose and the first person to appear was His Highness Vermilion, basked in a single spotlight in the darkness. Unlike the knight-like attire he was wearing when we met him before, he began his monologue dressed and equipped like a foot soldier. My father was a hero. He fought in many battles and took many lives, but he also saved many more. While I'm an amateur when it comes to the theater, I can still say that His Highness' acting was pretty good. His voice, breathing, pitch, timing, all of those were well balanced for an amateur. Even though I was in a VIP seat, which only had a good view and was actually quite far away, his acting skills made him look like he was closer. His Highness was truly an actor in this moment. I bear no grudge against the killer. It was a natural consequence of my father's deeds and a common sight in the world. Still, I must accomplish this vain goal known as revenge. It was hard to imagine given his blatant display of undisguised dislike for Lady Violet earlier, but maybe that's what they call the aura of royalty. In any case, the fact that the audience who came to see His Majesty was watching him without making a fuss from the moment he appeared on stage was proof of that. Even if it means making my beloved cry. The story of the play, to put it simply, was about revenge and love. Basically, the child of the hero, who was determined to avenge his father, tried to take revenge on the family of the person who killed his father, and found out that one of their family members was a girl he had been close to since childhood. His feelings waver and he hesitates in his choice. That's the synopsis. To be honest, I don't think this is the kind of a story you would expect from a student play, but stories with this kind of plot seems to be common in Azalea Academy. Maybe they also performed plays like this outside of Japan in my past life. Hey bro. It's been a while, glad to see you're doing well. After the monologue ended, the actors came out one by one, and the 5 actors stood on the stage. I had never met some of them directly or hadn't had a detailed conversation with them since meeting them, but they were people I knew one-sidedly. Vermilion Randolph, the 3rd prince with red hair and purple eyes, who's been blessed with talent and excellent overall abilities. Ash Austin, 3rd prince's excellent valet with bluish-brown hair and black eyes. Chartreuse Calvin, dark green hair and chartreuse-colored eyes. A knight candidate with the best physical abilities amongst the 5. Eccles Forsyth, a glasses-wearing second-year student with white hair and yellow-brown eyes from an Earl family who excels at magic. Silva Seifred, the only commoner among the 5, with silver hair and red eyes who uses a scary special magic. All of them are love interests in the Otome game. When the Ring of Fire is lit, world is painted red. There are more of them if you include sub-love interests, but those 5 are the main ones. And they were currently performing on stage. All of them had their unique characteristics, and although they were not on the same level as His Highness, they had probably practiced and were quite good for amateurs. However, while Chartreuse did appear, he had almost no lines and looked sullen. I think it's probably because he looked better when he was silent. Standard deviation of the face quality sure is high, damn maybe it's only natural, but all of them are different types of handsome men. As long as I'm on Lady Violet's side, they, who sided with Miss Mary during the duel, are equivalent to my enemies. But if I were to join them, I'd look extremely out of place. If Lady Violet and Miss Mary were added to the mix, I'd pale even more in comparison. I don't know whether Miss Mary is as beautiful as them, but according to Miss Kriemhild, she's a pretty girl. In any case, even if they're enemies, there is no need to go out of my way to stir up trouble with them. Seeing them all on the stage and the reactions of the audience, entranced by their entrance, I once again felt that I didn't want to become their enemy. The only ally I need within the school is Miss Kriemhild. Yes, it's her. She's at the church currently, but she's somebody who's supposed to be called the saint. Looks like she's here. Just as I was wondering when Miss Mary, the leading character, would show up, we reached a scene where the dialogue suggested that she would make an appearance. Lady Violet must have sensed it too. Her expression stiffened for a moment and she bit her lips slightly. However, a saint, huh? Maybe the fact that she's in the church must have something to do with why Cyan was called. We might see Cyan in a supporting role in some scenes. Anyway, just what kind of a woman is she to be hailed as a saint even in the play? It's only natural that the woman one likes will appear attractive in their eyes. But I don't have a very good impression of Miss Mary, who I've only heard about from rumors. Even if she's hailed as a beautiful girl and a saint, she stole Miss Kriemhild's role and caused Lady Violet to be expelled. Furthermore, I only see her as an unpleasant woman who seduced His Highness and the others. I see everybody is here. In my eyes, she was nothing more than an unpleasant woman, however. When it stepped onto the stage, the atmosphere of the play undoubtedly changed. Her beautiful golden hair fluttered, as if everything was calculated. Her red eyes were overflowing with compassion, as if accepting everything. Her entire body was perfectly proportioned. She had the presence that made it seem like she was right beside you even though she was far away. Despite overflowing with womanly charms, she mysteriously made you want to protect her. That was my first impression of her when she stepped on the stage. Oh, that is definitely a saint monster. Those who see her will likely be either mesmerized or intimidated. Her presence and acting skills that would put a pro to shame despite being a student is truly a violence. The audience might love her, but for those who walk on the same path, She's too perfect for them to catch up to. Her gaze, breathing, voice, and every move are all natural. Those watching her can't help feeling that the myth itself is being reenacted. It truly does feel like the descent of a mythical saint. This is all being done by a 15-year-old girl who has only been acting for about a month. It's truly abnormal and bizarre. If she performed the same way during the promotional campaign, it's not surprising that many people at the promotional venue perceived her as a saint fitting her role. I see, no wonder she was able to enchant not just His Highness and the others, but also the students of Azalea Academy. If she treated everyone equally, brought salvation, brightened up the place, solved the rotten parts of the school, and solved the problems of not only the love interests but also the students, just like the heroine of the Ring of Fire, of course she would become popular. Even if she's a reincarnator like me and knows the way to resolve things from the game, from the perspective of the people who have been saved, it doesn't matter. After all, the fact remains that the negative feelings they had been harboring for many years had been resolved. Furthermore, if you add her beauty, that you would hesitate to tarnish, and seductive voice, you would start to feel as if you were dealing with a messiah. Her acting gave that illusion. That aside, isn't Lady Violet more attractive? Ms. Mary is certainly a beautiful and charming woman. That's clear even at a glance. She has beautiful skin and hair, and her acting skills and voice are wonderful. As I said earlier, it's not unreasonable to mistake her for a saint, because of the mighty aura she exudes. It feels as if you're dealing with the world on a different scale. But putting that aside, if I was asked to choose the more charming woman, I would choose Lady Violet without hesitation. 9 times out of 10. Or maybe 10 times out of 10. Of course, I understand that one shouldn't judge someone's attractiveness based on their appearance alone. Personality, in particular, is something that someone can't tell from a first impression. Right now, I don't know if Ms. Mary has a good personality, always wanting to save others, or if she's just a calculated villainess aiming for power and pretty boys. Regardless of which it is, His Highness fell in love with Ms. Mary, and in the end, Lady Violet and I got married. Alright, in a way I have to be grateful to Ms. Mary. Thank you, Ms. Mary Sue. I can't forgive you for getting Lady Violet expelled, but putting that aside, thank you for letting me meet Lady Violet as a result. I can't thank you for that directly, so I will express my gratitude in my heart. Also, your acting skills are amazing. However, I can't help but think that if Lady Violet had played Ms. Mary's role, the play would have been even more fascinating. I don't know how good Lady Violet's acting skills are, but I'm sure she would shine with some polish. I want to see it. I'd rather watch a play starring Lady Violet. But that would mean a large audience like this would see her. It may be a good thing for many people to find out about Lady Violet's charm, but I kind of don't like it. I don't know why, but I don't like it. For now, there is something I can say with certainty. At this stage, Lady Violet is the more attractive woman. This probably won't change. Chapter 109, The Sudden Fateful Encounter. Let's live our lives looking forward to the future. All around were sisters, including Cyan in a praying pose. In the spotlight, Prince Vermilion, dressed in the same dazzling night costume as when we met earlier, and Ms. Mary spoke their lines, and the lights gradually dimmed, until it eventually became dark. When the audience realized that it was the final scene and the lights went out, a thunderous applause rang out throughout the theater, which naturally turned into a standing ovation. Everybody in VIP seats stood up to clap, so we also followed suit. It really was a wonderful play, so I don't mind praising it. Not only was the acting of Ms. Mary and the others great, the script and the directing were just as good, and even I, with no particular interest in theater, enjoyed it. I just think that I would have enjoyed it more if Lady Violet had been the main character. Gray, Mr. Burnt, and Miss Amber had grim expressions when His Highness and Ms. Mary came out at first, but now they clapped with complicated expressions on their faces, as if they thought that it was worth applauding instead of going along with the crowd. That was a good performance. Standing next to me in the same way, Lady Violet clapped slowly, a complex expression on her face. It might have been a good play, but Lady Violet was most likely feeling mixed emotions. The person who was her former fiancé and also chased her out, and the person who clearly became her enemy during the duel was close to being the main character. There's no way she could enjoy it wholeheartedly. So what did you think of her, Lord Cielo? By her she must mean Miss Mary. Miss Mary was undoubtedly wonderful when she was acting. There were many spectators, although they were also here for His Highness and the others, and many of them looked mesmerized. Lady Violet was anxious even before the play started, but looking at the situation, she was probably asking for my impressions with feelings mostly mixed with fear. Even if she somewhat knew that it was natural for Miss Mary to be recognized, it must have been painful to hear it again. You'd never guess that she was a student with her acting skills. I'm sure she'll be in high demand in that field in the future too. I guess so. If you asked me if I was charmed or not, I would say that I was certainly charmed. I thought this earlier too. I enjoyed the story a lot even though it made me feel complicated, and I think that Miss Mary is a beautiful lady. But Lady Violet is more charming, so it's not like I suddenly fell in love with Miss Mary. Besides, however, if there's one thing I have to say, if you had to say, if there was one thing I thought after seeing the play, it was that the 5 main love interests took the stage as expected, and as if to match it, their class also set up a haunted house. In other words, this meant that, I just thought that she also walked a very thorny path. Oh. In other words, it meant that she was treading the path to the true ending. The play ended, and since there was a chance that His Highness group would arrive if we stayed behind, we made an early retreat as we had already fulfilled our duty as the ones having been invited today. Then, when we disguised ourselves and were about to leave the school, we met Apricot outside the theater. Apparently she had gone to the market to buy seasonings, but she became interested in the play that was advertised in town, remembered that we were watching it and joined us in watching from a standing spot, though she obviously took off her hat during the play. I certainly thought that she was a nice woman with a talent in acting, but that was it. I see. Lady Violet was asked for her thoughts, and after giving pretty much the same answer as me, Apricot shared her impressions of Miss Mary. She asked me Grey, Mr. Burnt, and Miss Amber too. Is she really that worried? I admit that Miss Mary is attractive, but I think Lady Violet is more attractive than her. I think she could be more confident, although considering her past and the play we just saw, her anxiety is probably natural. Lady Violet then hung her head down slightly in response. I wonder if she thought that Apricot was looking out for her feelings. Apricot sighed in exasperation at that sight, and poked Lady Violet's head with the cane she was holding. Miss Violet, I know you are worried that we would be charmed by your former nemesis, but please calm down a little. Calm down. Yeah, that's right. You heard the thoughts of my disciple Mr. Cielo, Mr. Burnt, and Miss Amber, but you still think they're looking out for your feelings, right? That's not true, is what she was probably about to add, but then Apricot moved her cane in front of Lady Violet's mouth and gestured to her to stop talking. You were most likely worried that we would be charmed, which made you unable to move on and be anxious about us falling for Mary after she exposed our innermost feelings, just like how she saw into the Lord's heart without cowering from the feeling of love, right? You were probably telling yourself something like, but it's entirely possible. You're so on point, it's kind of scary. She's actually right? Or rather, that's what Lady Violet was thinking about? I'm amazed that both Apricot and Cyan can see through her like that. I wonder if they can understand each other because they're all women. Or maybe it's just a woman's intuition. There's no need to worry. We all think of you as. Just as Apricot was about to say the next thing, she suddenly stopped talking as if she had noticed something, and her gaze froze on something behind us. It was as if she hot-spotted someone. Hello? Then somebody called out to us from behind. I had never heard that voice until today, but it was a permeating female voice that I would never mistake for anybody else's. Sorry for calling out to you suddenly. Somebody who was much more dangerous to meet than Lady Violet's former fiancé, Ash's group that was hostile towards her, and Miss Schwartz and Rivers who targeted her life. We turned around and saw a woman standing there, dressed not in the saint-like outfit we saw her wearing earlier, but in a white commoner school uniform, wearing a hat as a disguise like us. Her long, beautiful golden hair fluttered in the wind, and her smiling, attractive, yet unreadable red eyes were looking towards us. Long time no see, Violet. Mary Sue stood there. Chapter 110. Roping Rodeo Drive. Smiley face, lavender. A little taller than me. Soft white skin. She stood gracefully with posture solidly set in place. At the same time she had soft, feminine curves. She was dignified but still somehow made you want to protect her. It's been a while. Sue. She stood there, talking to me as one would an old friend they hadn't seen in a long time, as if my past actions had never happened. Please call me Mary. You have never called me that before. She was gazing at me with a smile that was the same as when I was at the academy, and even though it was a little hard to see her expression behind her hat, I could tell it was alluring yet innocent. There was not a shred of hostility towards me in her eyes, just like during the time of the duel. All I could see was the same old goodwill, as if she was worried about me. When she realized that Lord CLO and the others around me weren't just people who happened to be nearby but rather my companions or acquaintances, her expression changed as if she panicked. I am sorry for interrupting your conversation. I saw a familiar face so I couldn't help calling out. Saying so, she bowed beautifully. Nice to meet you, I'm Mary Sue. I used to be her classmate and despite my incompetence, I was allowed to play the leading role in the play you just saw. Pleased to make your acquaintance. It wasn't as pompous as a nobleman's bow, but rather so natural that the people around didn't even seem to notice it, while we could tell that it was done with respect towards us. Even in the midst of all the noise, her voice reached my ears clearly, as if her world and the space we were in was cut off from the rest of reality. Lady Mary Sue. Up until this moment, Lord CLO and the others had stopped after her appearance, but upon hearing her name, it was Gray who was the first to try to move and step forward in an attempt to protect me. Lord CLO and the others also reacted to some extent, but even though she was my enemy in the past, looking at the outcome, I was the one in the wrong, and since she had merely said hello now, trying to protect me was not a wise idea in itself. Apricot stopped Gray from moving, and instead it was Lord CLO who took a step forward. Nice to meet you. Thank you for your kindness. I'm CLO Hartfield, Lady Violet's husband. The earlier performance was wonderful. Thank you very much. If you think so, then all our practice was worth it. Lord CLO talked to her with a smile, just as he usually did with guests. I couldn't sense any hostility towards her from him. I don't know if he was hiding it or didn't feel anything. So you are the rumored Mr. CLO everybody's talking about. Haha, I assume those aren't very good rumors. I'm sorry. I only know that you're Violet's husband. I don't know any other details about you. Oh, is that so? My apologies. No, I'm the one who has to apologize. You must have been troubled a great deal when I brought up rumors. On the other hand, she smiled at Lord CLO with the same smile that captivated His Highness, looked puzzled, got flustered, smiled, and showed an expression of compassion, without any shred of hostility. But she seemed to accept everything. She's a strong-willed woman. I am well aware that she has the strength to try and right things that she thinks are wrong. Oh, and this is... Lord CLO shifted the front of his body just about in between our group and her, and tried to introduce others. Di CLO. Hiyaho. Niope. Oh, Something came charging at high speed and attacked Lord CLO from the side. It happened so suddenly that we couldn't comprehend what had happened, and when we looked at Lord CLO and something that was blown away with him, and grasped the situation, Lord, Mr. CLO, we all instantly called Lord CLO's name, and everybody except for Mary Sue rushed up to him in panic. What happened? Was it a terrorist? A devil? An evil god? A bullet? A suicide attack? No, calm down, Violet. I started thinking of words that Lord CLO had mentioned before, which I didn't understand. Anyway, I have to understand what happened. The person who jumped him had a woman's voice. It felt like a voice I'd heard somewhere before. In other words, somebody bumped into Lord CLO. First, I have to see who bumped into him and ascertain whether either of them are injured. As the sudden event caused a commotion around us, we approached Lord CLO and the woman. The woman was wearing what appeared to be easy-to-move-in pants that seemed more like men's trousers and a sleeveless top, even though it was winter. She had dark blue hair and light blue eyes. What the hell are you doing, Cyan? It was Miss Cyan. She wasn't dressed in a habit, so I couldn't tell who she was at first, but it was unmistakably Miss Cyan. Ah, it hurts, sis. CLO. My brain is about to be crushed. I'm already dumb as it is, don't make me dumber. If that's what you think, don't charge at me with an attack. She charged at Lord CLO, who was one of the best in Shiki in terms of physical abilities, at such a high speed that he couldn't react, and we were worried whether he was seriously injured. But Lord CLO seemed all chipper as he grabbed Miss Cyan's face with an iron claw. Whatever the reason, it's true that Miss Cyan did something dangerous, so I'm not going to stop him for a while. I can't imagine that he's the man from that ending. I'm also curious about her personality. She seemed to have changed quite a lot. Love is a bridge from poorer to richer, as they say. Fufu, well then what should I do? For the sake of happiness, yes, for the sake of happiness, what should I do? Chapter 111. The reason is because it's dangerous. Smiley face lavender. Are you okay, Mr. CLO, Miss Cyan? I'm fine. She also cast a recovery magic the moment she tackled me. Short time no see, Mary. I'm okay. CLO makes it hurt, but he holds back enough to not cause any injuries. That's scary in its own way. As we were checking to see if Lord CLO and Miss Cyan were injured, Mary Sue came running over to us later, worrying about them. It seemed like she knew Miss Cyan. They acted together in the play earlier, so maybe that's when they got acquainted. So? Why did you charge me, Cyan? You better not have done it without any thoughts or because you hated that I was talking to Miss Mary. Sorry, it was a lie. I have another reason, so please stop gripping me with both hands. Just as Lord CLO made a fist and was about to hit Miss Cyan's temple, she apologized politely. Miss Cyan was the same as always, but I was a bit envious that she could interact with Lord CLO like this. I wonder if Lord CLO would be more casual with me if I acted like Miss Cyan. I've already changed my hairstyle, so maybe I'll give it a try next time. Or not. CLO, you know how there's that tournament at the school festival that I mentioned yesterday? Are you talking about the one where outsiders can participate along with the students of the academy? Did you really come here to invite me to participate in it with you? Neo, that's not it. When I tried to participate, my idiot higher-ups were faster and forbade me from taking part in. So she really tried to participate. And the fact that she was banned from participating means that the higher-ups must be wary of Miss Cyan. Well, of course they would be wary of a person who punched the Archbishop. So what happens if you can't participate? Oh yeah, about that. You were already registered as a participant, CLO. Huh. What did Miss Cyan say just now? Lord CLO was registered as the participant. In other words, he will be taking part in the matches at the school festival? I was. You were. What am I participating in? In the tournament at the academy. Why? Because your application has been handed in. Really? Here's the copy of the proof of participation. I got it specially. Why? I wonder why. Lord CLO tried to force himself to understand something he couldn't understand, and looked at Miss Cyan with a questioning expression. For the time being, I want to switch places with Miss Cyan. She's pretty close to him. Apricot. Naturally, I would never hand in the application for participation without permission. Mr. Burnt, Miss Amber. Same as Apricot. Ditto. Lord CLO was uncharacteristically suspecting that Apricot and the others had done it on their own. However, it seemed like he didn't have serious doubts and easily backed down when the others denied it. Anyway, Cyan, thank you for letting me know that, but what? Do you not have any other business with me? Nope, that was it. Lord CLO folded his arms and thought about what was going on for a while. Then he uncrossed his arms and looked at Miss Cyan again. Can we switch places after all? In that case, there was no need to charge me, was there? You caught me? I caught you. There was an awkward pause, and just as Lord CLO tried to move his arm, Miss Cyan moved quickly and wrapped her right arm around Gray and left arm around Apricot. Let's go, Ray Cotty. Let's head out to the capital. I went through the trouble to change my clothes so the church officials wouldn't get in my way, so let's go. Lady Cyan? Grab onto me, we're too fast, Miss Cyan. You're going too fast through the monstrum. Carrying them on both sides, she left at an incredible speed. Wasn't that too fast? Gray and Apricot, along with their luggage, amounted to a total of nearly 100 kilograms, yet she left with ease. It didn't even look like she strengthened her physical abilities, so just what's up with her strength? Wait! Don't just kidnap someone's son. Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Mary, we have to chase that kidnapper sister, so we'll excuse ourselves now. Wait. Let's go then, Lady Violet, Mr. Burnt, Miss Amber. We all nodded in surprise at Lord CLO's words, and I turned to face her. Sorry, Sue. I'll apologize for what happened between us before sometime. No need to apologize. No, give me an opportunity to do so. Well then, for now I'll excuse myself. Saying so, I chased after Miss Cyan with Lord CLO and the others. Miss Cyan is quite far away, but we can still catch up with her. But why did she do something like this? It's true that she does some unexpected things, but it felt like she was being wary, just like that time with Schwartz. It's not like she was worried because I was talking with her. I feel like Miss Cyan would probably say something like, talking things out and an apology are important. My suspicions aside, we chased after Miss Cyan. Those servants were only mentioned by their names, but that boy is their son? And how is he like, Mary? So you were here. Oh, Your Highness. What's the matter? Don't you, what's the matter me? I was going to thank you after the play ended, but I heard that you had changed into your uniform and left. I'm sorry. I had a little business to attend to. You're not talking about Violet, are you? You know what she did to Fufu, it's nothing. Come on, let's go, Vermilion. Oh, I can't do anything when you call me like that. But please don't disappear for too long. It makes me worried. Thank you very much. Oh, by the way, about the match. Chapter 112. She rushed overnight and did it in minutes. Now, Cyan, it's time for you to tell us what's going on. What do you mean? It was the second night in the capital. After the play ended and we met with Ms. Mary, I lectured a sister from my own territory about a kidnapping commotion she caused. I decided to check the truth regarding my participation in the tournament tomorrow, and then we all went sightseeing in the capital like normal. After dinner, Gray, Apricot and Burnt went sightseeing near the lodging. I went over to Cyan, who was staying in Lady Violet's room. I naturally began questioning her. Lady Violet was also in the room playing chess with her. There was also Ms. Amber in the room, acting as a guard, but for some reason I feel more uneasy when she's here. Is it just my imagination? Cyan played dumb at my question, but she probably understood what I was talking about. Don't play dumb. You were trying to stop us from talking to Ms. Mary, weren't you? You really came into a maiden's room to ask something so rude. Check. She might be a maiden, but it sounds shady when she's the one saying it. It's as suspicious as when somebody calls themselves innocent. I'm sure she's just saying it for the sake of it though. So you really tried to stop our conversation. But why, Miss Cyan? I don't know what to answer even if you ask me that. I wonder why. Cyan, still in her casual clothes. I don't even know when she changed into them. Scratched her head with her right hand. Did she really charge at me without a thought? It's possible for Cyan, but it doesn't sound like her. Or she's stressed from the work at the confession competition that started today and the play. Maybe the higher-ups put a lot of pressure on her. The biggest reason was because if you stayed in that place, those needlessly sparkly boys would come check. Sparkly boys. I assume she means His Highness or Sir Ash? I see, I kind of get it. She was probably referring to the 5 main love interests, but it seemed like Lady Violet also had an inkling, and she was convinced with the reasoning. They really do look like they would be followed by a sparkly sound effect. Miss Amber muttered, I don't like that sparkly smell, but I shouldn't pay attention to it. I wonder what a sparkling scent is like. Actually, was it because they'd be coming to that place? In other words, because Miss Mary snuck out after the play to see us, His Highness and others would get worried and start looking for her. So if we stayed there, there was a possibility that they'd come and attack us. Miss Mary changed from her eye-catching costume into a school uniform, snuck out and came to see us. Considering the time, it wouldn't be strange if it was during the time when everybody was busy greeting others and excitedly discussing the after-party. If she were to sneak out in such a situation, even if she left a message behind, the others might have gotten worried and started looking for her. And what His Highness and the others would do if they saw her talking with Lady Violet is not hard to imagine if I think back on His Highness' demeanor when we met before the play. You're right, that was the most obvious reason, check. Obvious? Yeah, this is a bit vague, but Mary, doesn't she seem a bit strange? A bit strange. Lady Violet looked puzzled by Cyan's words. Seems strange. It was the same with Miss Schwartz. Cyan has a keen sense for malice. Maybe she felt some kind of malice from Miss Mary. I mean, she has no ill will. She has really no ill will towards others, unusually enough. She has no malice? Indeed, she didn't show hostility towards Lady Violet either. At first, I thought she was trying to get us to let our guards down and take advantage of the situation. And when I heard that His Highness and the others might have been coming, I even thought that she was a calculating girl who was planning to have Lady Violet attacked. That girl really does wish for happiness for others. To the point that it makes me honestly think she really is worthy of being given the crazy title of saint. A crazy title? Should a nun really be saying that? Yeah, you're right. Thinking back on it, she tried to save His Highness, save others. But not everybody. Lady Violet was about to say something after having remembered the past, but Cyan interrupted her and continued speaking. I feel like maybe subconsciously she somewhat has a different perception of Io. No, sorry. Don't mind me. There was a strange commotion. Thinking back on it, I might have just been trying to stop the sparkly kids from attacking you guys. Sorry, check. Saying so, Cyan apologized to me, Lady Violet and Ms. Amber. It seemed like she herself had lost track of what she was trying to say. But what could it mean? Could it be related to the simulated reality I talked to Cyan about yesterday? There must be something if you think so, Miss Cyan. After thinking for a moment, Lady Violet refrained from talking further about the topic, perhaps because she was told to not mind it anymore. Instead, she turned her gaze towards the board and moved her pieces, making her move. By the way, Miss Cyan, you've been saying check since a while ago, but you haven't put me in check even once. Checkmate. I lost. I was even doing better than before. She sure can talk when Lady Violet is mostly unscathed, and she had everything but her rook taken. It was a one-sided match even from the sidelines. Albeit, rather than Lady Violet being strong, it looked like Cyan was just weak. I've returned. Hey, welcome back. As Kian was frustrated and hoping for another round, Gray and the others who had been outside came back. Apricot seemed to be in a better mood than usual, so it seemed that she had managed to get the rare seasoning she was after. Miss Amber looked interested in it, and Apricot proudly took out the contents from her bag. Lady Violet was also curious, so she declined Cyan's offer and listened with interest as Apricot explained the things she had bought. Lord Cielo, please take a look at this. What's wrong? A newspaper? While Apricot was showing off the things she'd bought, Mr. Burnt gave me a so-called extra edition of the newspaper. Does the fact that he specifically handed it to me mean that something happened in relation to me? But in the capital, the only thing that could happen in relation to me would probably be involving my family home. Or maybe today's play caused such a stir that it warranted the publication of an extra edition. Let's see God's judgment. This evening, a mysterious flash suddenly appeared in the southern sky, and the drug organization in question was found destroyed at that location. Looking at the details, it seems that a drug organization that was trying to spread opium in various places was rounded up in one swoop. However, the Knights were not the ones who arrested them. By the time they arrived, all the members of the organization were already tied up. Furthermore, all the members of the group seemed to be mentally unstable. They were apparently saying incomprehensible things like, it was a glowing lump of metal that spoke with a woman's voice. It seems that the general consensus is that this is a symptom of opium poisoning. Yeah, for now. You did a good thing, robot. Was this really okay? I think it's probably not okay. But she did a good thing. So it's okay. Yeah. Chapter 113, Calm Before the Storm. I slept like a baby the night of the second day, and was swamped with estate responsibilities on the third day. Lady Violet and Ms. Amber helped me with some pointless paperwork that had to be taken care of in the capital by the end of the day. I thought it would be such a shame to have Gray do nothing but work after coming all the way here, so I entrusted him to Apricot and Mr. Burnt. I had sent them off to go sightseeing instead. Cyan had changed into her habit, the one with no slit, and decided to listen to confessions at the Academy Festival. In the meantime, I tried to verify some details regarding the tournament happening on the fourth day. As Cyan had stated, I was indeed registered to take part in the tournament for those unaffiliated with the Academy. Since last-minute entries with no prior registration usually pop up on the day of the tournament, I inquired if someone pre-registered would be allowed to remove their name from the list. I was unfortunately informed that it wouldn't be possible. Well, I suppose it only came to this because of a certain someone scheming, so I guess I have no choice. The thought of inflicting a minor injury upon myself so as to get automatically disqualified did cross my mind though. So it's you, Hartfield, you little bastard. You're in no position to refuse. Someone will be sent to escort you from your inn tomorrow. Spat a professor who hated my guts when I tried to make conversation with him regarding matters related to Shiki. I thought to myself that he hadn't changed a bit and wondered why on earth did they wish to go to such lengths to force me to participate, and I sighed upon realizing that it was a situation I wouldn't be able to extricate myself from. I should probably be glad that it wasn't a game of tag again and I wouldn't be paired against Lady Violet or Grey. I felt relieved mostly because I don't want to fight them but also because both of them were much stronger magic users than me. I should probably count myself fortunate that I won't be carried away in a stretcher after a bout. And I reported to the bishop that I told everyone who came, God won't lead you unto salvation, but he got mad at me. Look, I get that you meant God watches over us but he won't come running to clean up every mess we make. I might be able to understand what you are trying to say because I have known you personally for a long time. But that is not the case for a stranger like the bishop. It's natural for him to get angry. But you know one of the kids actually found my words reassuring? For once it was a kid that was actually troubled. Well, seeing as your confession stand is an attraction at a festival, most of the people who stop by are probably just curious. You'd think so, right? But as clergy in charge of hearing confessions, I take my job seriously and give people honest answers. Even if it's a sexual query from an old man. You take those kinds of questions too? Only because it's a confession. If not, I'd threaten to crush. What exactly? Well, someone's chipper. It's too bad Mother and Father couldn't join us, but I had so much fun going around the capital taking in all the new sights with you and Mr. Burnt. You really wear your heart on your sleeve, Gray. Even the excitement in your voice feels honest. I like it. Mr. Burnt. I'm not letting you off this time. I'll have you make it clear just how you see my disciple. Probably the way you look at each other? No, it's anything but that. Please don't equate the stimulation you feel from your fetish with the bond between a teacher and her disciple. Oh, I suppose I failed to make the distinction. So there's another way of looking at things. What's with that reaction? With my various tasks completed and science clerical duties and the other sightseeing done for the day, everyone looked back on their adventures with excitement, despite the fact that night had fallen and a full day lay ahead of them tomorrow. I looked on as I drank a cup of coffee that was delivered to our room. Gray makes the best coffee after all. Hoo-hoo. Coffee, really, does stimulate your brain. And like me, done with her duties, Robot sat beside me drinking a cup of coffee herself. After disbanding a drug ring, destroying a grove of Trents in mating season and etc., Robot had returned to the hotel like the rest of us. As to her appearance, Creamhild had communicated through Ash to have Robot wear a suit to promote first-year class Luna. Not much thinking is required as to how she can even drink with the suit on. It's lost technology. This reason can be used to explain most of the things concerning Robot. I heard that you're going to participate in the tournament. Yeah, that's right. Does it have anything to do with the second prince? Can't say. I envy you. Yeah, well, if that ain't the truth, but how did you know? I only ever informed everyone that I was forced to participate and said nothing whatsoever about the second prince. Because of an ancient artifact called hunch. What's with that? Wouldn't you normally just call it a woman's intuition? Well, Robot is aware of the reason I was sent to Shiki, and that combined with the invitation, I guess she just connected the dots. If I had to guess, their intention is probably just to give me a hard time. Feels like they just randomly got the idea and wanted to see it through. Whatever the reason may be, it doesn't change the fact that I have no choice but to show my face, and it's their way of harassing me. I need to overcome this crisis to make sure I don't cause any worry to Lady Violet, no to all my family members in this room. And to add fuel to fire, there's also the invitation to the festival party to think about. By the way, I heard you haven't told Violet and the others the reason why you were demoted in rank. Yeah, I haven't. I took one more gulp of coffee, firing myself up for tomorrow when Robot inquired me as if the thought had suddenly popped into her head. Well, why not? Surely you're not thinking of keeping them in the dark after all this time. I don't mind telling them, but there just hasn't been an occasion to bring it up. Almost everyone in Shiki knows, and I have personally told several people myself. However, I don't know why I'm hesitating. I don't know why, but I felt a little scared to talk about it with Lady Violet. Scared? I mean, it's irrational, but I keep wondering if it would complicate things between us. I'm not sure why, but when Lady Violet didn't ask me about the reason why I was sent to Shiki, I breathed a sigh of relief. I would have to tell her someday anyway, so it would have been better to just rip off the band-aid just then. But I couldn't help worrying that she might end up hating me after hearing of my sordid past. Well, there's also that her confession of love left me dumbfounded, unable to articulate any thought. Sigh. See, so you're also naive and inexperienced when it comes to love, muttered Robot. I asked what she meant by that, but my query was met with silence. Chapter 114, Not Equal. The fourth day. On the day of the school festival tournament, we reluctantly came to the match arena. I say we, but the only one with me was Apricot, who I was escorting to explain how to participate in the tournament. It was a splendid arena that didn't seem fitting for a normal school, but in the past it was used to make slaves fight. Since slave trading was banned, it has only been used occasionally for canonical ceremonies and events like this. Since it's on the school grounds, it's technically school property. By the way, there's a dragon that reigns over the earth, sealed underground. Nobody knows about it except the royal family though. So this is the school's twilight, where light and dark turn into chaos. What a fitting place for me to fight. It's dangerous, get off. And from the highest point of the spectator seats, Apricot was looking down on the tournament arena where participants were beginning to enter. She did so wearing her usual witchy clothing with her cape fluttering in the wind. Some people looked at her, wondering what was going on. Everyone watched from a distance, but upon seeing her outfit, they reacted either with fondness, thinking that she was just an excited child, or dry laughter as if they were remembering something from the past. For now, her witchy outfit also includes a skirt, so I'd rather she didn't climb high places. Well, in terms of danger, you're probably in more danger, Mr. Cielo. Are you okay? There we go. Apricot came down and looked worryingly, or rather anxiously, in my direction with her hands on her hat. Don't worry. I'm no good at magic, but I'm used to fighting. I know that your strength is out of bounds, Mr. Cielo. Don't say that it's out of bounds. Sure, the only person in Shiki who can go toe-to-toe with me in a fight without magic is Cyan, but there's always somebody better. But magic is allowed in this endless battle. That puts you at a disadvantage, Mr. Cielo. The tactics you used against Second Prince will not work. In this life I was born into a world where I could use magic, but unfortunately I had no talent for it. With Earth attribute, I can barely move pebbles and I can't manipulate water with enough force to deal damage to the opponent. Even if I use spells or magic circles for the fire attribute, it doesn't turn into flames and stops at the level of a normal fire. I can only manipulate wind to the extent of making it a little cool in summer, and I can only produce a dim light. As for the darkness, I have absolutely no aptitude for it. Although I can use buff magic like body strengthening and simple magic like space preservation to some extent, there's a huge difference between me and Apricot. Well, Apricot is so talented at magic that she would make a name for herself even if she enrolled into the academy, so comparing myself to her isn't really right. Anyway, it's true that I'm not very good at it. Well, I don't really need to win. I'm fine with participating, but if I lose, that's it. However, this time I have no particular need to win in this tournament. That's filled with people who are excellent at magic. If I hold back too obviously, people would criticize me for it, but if I lose to a flashy magic while showing some degree of strength, I probably won't be shunned. I should still be on the lookout for any kind of interference though. Then I shall snatch the victory. Fuhahaha. Yeah, I'll be looking forward to it. I should also keep an eye on Apricot to make sure nobody interferes with her. I've told Lady Violet to be careful when I'm away, so I'll keep an eye on the nearby Apricot, who's participating too, so there's nothing going on around her. Oh, that's quite a bold statement, Lady Apricot. Who is it? She can't be asking seriously. There is only one person who would call Apricot like that, and you can tell from his voice too. And since he's a troublesome guy in a different way than His Highness, it made me want to sigh. You are Chartreuse. It's been a while. I believed you would also take part in this tournament. Humph, if you're saying that, you must be participating as well. Any matches that are open to outsiders are also open to academy students. I intend to win both first and second year divisions. Hey, you sure talk big. But as long as I'm here, that wish will never come true. Also, don't call me lady. I'm relieved to see you're still the same. You are truly my worthy rival, Lady Apricot. If you're picking a fight, I'll take you on. Why are they talking like they're rivals from a shounen manga that have just been reunited? I feel a bit complicated that I'm kind of excited about it. The people around who didn't know the details were also fussing about what was going on. Obviously they were talking about Chartreuse, who's famous in many ways, and a girl who was babbling about strange things. The commotion was also about CLO Hartfield, not just Chartreuse. The person who talked to me was Prince Vermilion, who I didn't notice because I was distracted by Chartreuse. Although he wasn't as hostile as the day before yesterday, he still looked somewhat wary. Good morning, Your Highness Vermilion. The play the other day was wonderful. I stayed as calm as I could and greeted His Highness. There was no need to even ponder why he was here. The royal family generally always took part in the Azalea Academy's tournament. In other words, their aim was to show their strength as the royals. It was also to show Miss Creamhild, no Miss Mary, his cool side. The people with high facial value who performed together in the play the day before yesterday will probably also be here. Miss Mary might be here too. Of course. After all, Mary was also there. Yes, she was wonderful too. You two were the perfect match for the leading roles. When I complimented Miss Mary, the corners of his lips lifted slightly for just a moment, even though he didn't even move an eyebrow when I complimented him. It was really only for a moment though. Maybe he was happy to be told that they were the perfect match? So what could I do for you? I don't think it's a good idea to talk to me much. Even about Violet. No, my brother Carmine? When I asked him hesitantly, His Highness said the reason why I was uncomfortable talking to him. They're half-siblings, so they're not very similar, but they're still related, and when I think about Lady Violet, I can't be too nice to him. I do think that he's a pretty good person though. Anyway, I called out to you because, just as His Highness was about to explain why he spoke to me again, another voice interrupted our conversation. Alright, that's it. If you're picking a fight, I'm not going to turn away. Come outside right now. Why? Why do you hate being treated like a lady so much, Lady Apricot? Also, we're already outside. That doesn't matter. I'm neither a noble, nor do I have a spouse. You may mean it as a sign of respect, but when you say it, I feel like you're mocking me by calling me a little girl. Now you're just putting words in my mouth. I was raised by my father and mother to be kind to women. That's why I'm being so respectful, Lady Apricot. Okay, I get it. You're an idiot, aren't you? What did you say? I'm always among the top 20 in academics within the school body. Being good at studying does not equal being smart. Before we knew it, things had gotten heated up, and Apricot and Chartreuse had started loudly arguing. The fact that Chartreuse had switched from referring to himself in a formal way to informal during the argument meant that he was also serious about it. They seemed to be as incompatible as ever. I'm sorry, the girl is a citizen of my territory, but they seem to have trouble getting along ever since the investigation. No, in fact, doesn't it look like they get along extremely well? For Char to show his true colors like that is pretty common recently actually. He changed ever since he started interacting with Mary. Oh, so His Highness understands that too. Chapter 115, It wasn't intentional at least. Fudeha. So, what business did you have with me? Did you talk to me only to say hello? After their fight calmed down, Apricot, who was a little out of breath after yelling, asked Chartreuse, who was still breathing well. Oh, I almost forgot. La Apricot, you're participating in today's match, right? Indeed, that is why I am here. Apparently there was a mistake on your application form. The person in charge was at a loss at what to do, So I came to call for you, since I happen to know your name and face. Is that so? I cannot believe I of all people would make such a blunder. Thank you for reporting this to me. Where is the clerk? Chartreuse escorted Apricot to where the clerk was. I was a bit worried that they would start fighting again on the way there, but since His Highness talked to me first, I couldn't leave him. Well, I digress. The reason I came to talk to you is because I wanted to know something about you. About me? His Highness resumed his conversation with me. He wants to know something about me. Does this mean that he wants to warn me to be careful of Lady Violet like Chartreuse did before? No, that would be slightly different from wanting to know something. You know a man called Roshenna Rivers, right? Yes. Rivers, the man who modified an orc to have His Highness face, kidnapped Grey and tried to degrade Lady Violet. I've heard that he's been expelled and has received the appropriate treatment. I'd heard about the kidnapping incident and how he tried to disgrace Violet. I didn't hear the details, but Mary became interested in it the day before yesterday. I asked Ash about it, but did he hear about the orc with his face? In that case, maybe he understood the meaning of the words we blurted out the day before yesterday, and wanted to hear from the involved party what they thought when they saw it in front of them. Hartfield, are you close with Mary? How did that question come from the conversation we just had? I ended up responding rudely to the unexpected question. No, I got ahead of myself. In other words, what I'm trying to ask is, whether you and Mary are close. Please calm down, Your Highness. You are repeating yourself. I can't believe that His Highness Vermilion would panic like this. His Highness is certainly an aloof person and he rarely loses composure, so much so he's been nicknamed the Red Lion. I've heard that he generally only shows emotions like the one he showed the day before yesterday, and he was the same way in Ring of Fire too. He does get flustered like this depending on the route though. Still, what did he mean by Miss Mary and I being close? There has to be a reason why he thought so. Something so conclusive, that he would come all the way here to ask me about it. What I mean is, to summarize His Highness' story, it seems that after the play, and most likely when she parted with us, Miss Mary asked Ash about me and Lady Violet. She asked about the incident caused by Roshenna Rivers, and the details that hadn't come out due to the concerns over the survival of the Rivers family, and the way the situation was handled, and also about how we were doing. Ash said that one shouldn't spread rumors and only see facts for themselves, so he only talked on a surface level. At first, His Highness thought that she wanted to learn more about Lady Violet's change, but apparently, it seemed to him that Miss Mary was more interested in hearing about me. It was really just His Highness' hunch though, and the look on her face at that time seemed like she was interested, as if she was in love. You can't have been more wrong. I stopped myself from voicing my thoughts. That was close. Excuse me, but I think you have misunderstood, Your Highness. I met Miss Sue for the first time the day before yesterday. We didn't talk much, and it seemed like the only thing she had heard about me was that I am Lady Violet's husband. I see. Those were completely subjective feelings stemming from his paranoia, but for His Highness to worry this much, it must mean that he likes Miss Mary a lot. His status, talent and appearance are all top class in the kingdom, so he should be more confident. Still, I'll follow it up anyway. Miss Mary Sue is certainly an attractive woman. I can understand why you would be wondering if I'm attracted to her, and might try to make a move on her. Does his silence mean that he's not denying it? In that case, I'll continue. Unfortunately, I have my hands full loving one family. Even if we become close, I can't afford to lay my hands on her. You want me to believe your words? Yes. Pardon me, but we have not spent enough time together so you can trust and believe my words alone. I hope this will calm your worries for now, Your Highness. I said so and bowed. Then, after I raised my head, His Highness looked at me for a while with an appraising gaze, and I see. He said just this. He doesn't seem to trust me, but he seems to be convinced for now. Oh, sorry. Can I ask you something if you're done with your conversation? It's fine, I finished my business. I'm sorry about that, Sir Third Eye. Third Eye? Is that me? Just as my conversation with His Highness came to a stop, Apricot, who had returned who knows when, started talking to us. I wonder if whatever problem she had with the application had been resolved. And to call His Highness like that out of nowhere really does take guts. About my problem with the application. It's this part. I looked at the part in the application form in my hand that she was pointing at. The place she was pointing at was an unlikely place to make a mistake on, at the top. She really had a problem in this part? Oh, I see. I don't mind it. You can write it. I'm sorry, Mr. Cielo. It's fine. Just write it down. Apricot thanked me and wrote down the thing she was missing in her document. I don't really mind if she wrote it down without asking me, but Apricot is very conscientious when it comes to things like that. Wait, what's going on, Lady Apricot? And the troublesome guy started picking a fight with her again. Hey, give it a break already, Chartreuse. Are you a bird brain who forgets everything in 3 seconds? Oof, sorry. It's just my habit. Besides, I'm not used to calling women just by their names. Don't you call Ms. Violet and Ms. Creamhild without honorifics? It's fine if I'm just using their family names. That aside, are you planning on using a fake name in the school festival tournament? It's not a fake name, this too is my proper mana dash. What, that's impossible. Didn't you say before that your mana was Apricot von Pendragon? Was that a lie? Humph, to think that you couldn't even realize that, Chartreuse. There is no way I would be contained under one name. Chat. You possess a second name like Vermilion, lady? And you also go by many other names. You're doing it on purpose, aren't you? Why did you keep using lady? There are a lot of things I would like to point out, but well, what can I say? I'm sorry about my citizen. No, I'm the one who's sorry about my childhood friend. I didn't think he would be so simple-minded. His Highness looked at Chartreuse with a nostalgic expression on his face, gazing in the distance.